Oh, beautiful day today. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Knowledge, full-time entrepreneur, seven-figure entrepreneur, and been in the notary industry for about what? Going on 10 years, maybe it's about to be 10 years. I think it's about 9 years to be exact. But I really kind of want to talk to you guys about what it actually takes to make a full-time income as a notary in the notary industry. Because a lot of times when I'm here on social media, I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of notary entrepreneurs specifically talking about how they make a full-time income. But honestly, the reality of the fact is they're not sharing a lot of the real behind the scenes of what the notary industry really is. So I always tell people there's like 3 phases when it comes to it. So the first phase is the regular notaries, right? Your regular notaries are the ones that get $5 to $10, maybe $5 to $15, depending on the type of notarizations that they're doing, or depending on the state that they're in, to be more specifically. And usually when you're making that type of money as a notary, you can't really do that for a full-time living because it's only like $5, $10, $15. You're not gonna make a full-time living off of that. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not realistic. The second phase to that is being a mobile notary. And this is one of the ones where people kind of discovered it a little bit more now, and people talk about it a lot more. Because as a mobile notary, what you're doing essentially is making money in the notary industry, yes, but where most of the money comes in when you're doing that is from the traveling, because you can only charge a certain amount as a notary, obviously, depending on what state you're in. So the money that you're really making is from the travel fee and from your a la carte services, which is what I talk about in some of the other videos. But when you do that, when you get to level 2 and you're actually a mobile notary and you're doing like different signings, such as like general notary work, you're doing your apostilles, you're doing your estate planning, you can drive to these people's location, and instead of getting paid your $5, $10, $15, you're able to charge your $20 plus, your $50 plus, all the way up to like $200, excuse me, up to $200, depending on the type of signing that you're doing. Still getting over this cold. Anyways, a cold and sunny Miami with a beautiful view. Crazy. But anyways, when you're able to charge more like this, now this makes a little bit more sense. So when you hear people talking about the mobile notarizations and how they're a mobile notary, yes, you can make a living from that. Now that makes more sense. You can get your $5,000 to $10,000 depending on how good you are. The problem is to actually make a full-time earning or a full-time salary in the mobile notary industry, you have to have consistent clients. And many people don't know how to market for themselves. So what you do is you rely on signing services or different businesses to send you money. So the day in the life of like the average mobile notary entrepreneur is they'll sign up for some signing services and they'll pray and hope that they'll actually get jobs from these signing services. You know what I mean? They'll pray and hope that maybe they'll send them out business, and they're hoping that they'll send them out enough business so that way they can have a full-time salary, maybe $4,000 or $5,000, so they can pay their bills and they can work for themselves. The problem with this is every notary is thinking the same exact way. All notaries are thinking the same exact way. Let me just sign up to a whole bunch of services, and maybe if I sign up to a whole bunch of services, they'll pay me out enough money to where I can have a full-time income. So that way I'm not relying on my job to send my job to pay me. I can just work for myself. But if every notary is thinking the same way, if every notary is reaching out to different people and reaching out to different signing services, you're gonna be like one of hundreds of notaries that wants to get business from this specific signing service or from this specific title company. The problem is that if there's like 30 to 50 people all signed up to the same place and you just come in, you're gonna end up being number 31. So they have to go through all of the other notaries to get to you to do the job, and then you have to hope that you'll get jobs from this consistently enough to make a full-time income. Does that sound realistic to you? I'll leave that completely up to you to decide. But for me, I was like, this doesn't make any sense, because there's notaries that's been doing this for years, and then these title companies, these law offices, these signing services are just gonna use them. So you're not gonna even be a priority notary. You're gonna be all the way at the bottom of this list. And then you're praying and hoping that they give you business. But that doesn't make sense to me. So one way is signing up through these signing services and hope you get called. Another way is trying to call these title companies or call these call these real estate offices and hope they give you business. So even me, I get emails from other notaries as a notary saying like, hey, can you add me to your preferred notary list? And one, I will say it's one of the most annoying things that you can get. And two is every notary does the same thing as well. Every notary is doing the same exact thing, trying to get business the same exact way. So if you're trying to get the business the same exact way as everybody else, you can expect to get the same exact results. It doesn't work. So you will get a couple of clients here and there, but as far as like being consistent and being able to make a full-time income from it, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because everybody's doing it. You know what I'm saying? So what you actually need to get a full-time income as a notary entrepreneur is understanding how to market for yourself or how to become a preferred notary on these people's lists, because that's where you're going to get a consistent income. If you're trying to get to $5,000 a month, even something as simple as $5,000 a month or even $10,000 a month, you need to find out, how can I get consistent business? How can I be a priority notary? And how can I make a substantial amount that's going to be recurring, that I can depend on this fully each month? The problem is, once you even figure out how to do that, you then have to fight with the fact that you're going to be working for it. Like, you'll make $5,000 to $10,000 even in the notary industry, but you're working for it. So for example, you are a notary entrepreneur, and you're a mobile notary entrepreneur, which means that you have to drive to each location, which is, that's, I guess it's a step away from doing a job, but you're still driving to each one of these locations. Each one of these locations, and you're using up the most valuable resource. Sorry, there's our train is passing by. You're using up the most valuable resource that you have, which is time. So for me, I was like, okay, even if I find a way to be on these preferred notary lists, even if I find a way to be the type of person that gets consistent calls, I'm still gonna have to be driving the whole day. So let's say, for example, you have 20 notary appointments in one day. What are you gonna have to do? You're gonna have to drive to each one of these 20 notary appointments. You can make a full-time living for it, but you're gonna be waking up in the morning and you're gonna be driving the whole day. It's kind of like Uber or Lyft, you know what I mean? But you're getting paid a little bit more from that. So for me personally, I'm like, all right, this is cool. It was cool as a way to get away from working a 9 to 5 and being able to be self-employed. But being a mobile notary and being the person that's actually like notarizing these documents, you're not really a business owner. You're just an employee of your own business. You're more so self-employed. So I don't know if you guys have read the book Cash Flow Quadrant, but it's 4 quadrants. You have employee, you have self-employed, you have business owner, and you have investor. The difference between being self-employed and being a business owner is that when you're self-employed, you're working for your own business, but you're still using your time up. When you're a business owner, you own a system and you're leveraging other people's time, or you're leveraging money so that way you can have income coming in. Because let's say that you do get full-time income from being a mobile notary. If you get sick one day, if your child needs you to take them to school, whatever may happen within your business, you're not able to consistently go out there and notarize these documents. And you can't do that because you're sick. You are the business. So if something happens to you, money stops coming in. So that's why I took a look in the opposite direction, and I was like, okay, how can I save my time? How can I leverage myself to make more money? And then how can I keep a system running without me having to be there? For example, it's Friday right now. I'm sitting outside by the water, chilling, talking to you guys. And how I found a perfect way to leverage that is through the mobile notary business or through the signing agencies business, whatever name you want to use for it. So instead of me having to go out there and fight with thousands of other notaries that are on social media, all teaching how to be the notary, I can just figure out how to get clients and team up with all these thousands of notaries that are out there. And honestly, I believe that that's a much better way, because now instead of being the notary that's begging and praying somebody to put them on their priority notary list, now you can be the type of individual that has notaries reaching out to you and begging you to work with them, so that way you can get more money. So that's what I say. I would say be the person that is a signing agency or signing service, and then by that point, you are the one that has notaries reaching out to you to work with, and then at that point, you just split in your funds with the notary. So what that basically looks like, in a nutshell, and I won't even drag it out, but you focus on how to get clients, because other notaries don't know how to do it. They just reach out to other people. And then when a client comes in, like I did when I first started up, is you just team up with other notaries and just split the profits. So for example, if a client comes to you and you charge them $100, simple math, all you do is go to one of the notaries on your list, see if they can do the job for $50 or whatever the price is, and then you're able, even if you want to get the majority of the money, it doesn't matter because you can leverage your time. You charge them $100, you pay the notary $50, you keep $50 for yourself, and without even having to leave the house, you then made $50. You see what I'm saying? Rather than driving to these appointments when you finally do get an appointment and then making money from that way. To me, that doesn't make any sense. So once you figure out how to create the system and then reach out to individuals that can then do the other part of the job, you can just stay home and then just work from that point. It makes a lot more sense to be doing it like that. So I would say look at it. And this is one of those things where it took me kind of years to figure it out. And honestly, I kind of fell on it on accident. What I ended up doing is somebody in North Florida reached out to me and they needed to have a job done. And I wasn't able, because I think I was in Boca Raton at that time, and they were in Tallahassee, which is hours away from me. So what I ended up doing is calling one of my friends that was a notary way up in North Florida, asking him if he could do the job for $50. And he said, yeah. And then at that point, he reached out to me after the job and said, hey, I finished the job. I Zelled him the money, $50. I kept the $50. And then my mind just completely opened up. I'm like, if I can just get multiple of these a day, then I don't have to keep driving around to these appointments. I can sit here by the water with a beautiful sun in Miami, a beautiful view of Brickell, and just enjoy my life. And that's what I decided to do. So I'm just saying, if you are a notary, or you're somebody that want to get into the notary industry, but you're not trying to use up your time, you definitely want to look at being a signing agency or creating your own signing service, which is what I did, and it got me the freedom that I want, the time freedom, the location freedom, but honestly, and the financial freedom, but the time freedom and the location freedom, even outside of the money, oh my God, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful right now. Everybody's at work. I'm here by the water, chilling, just enjoying myself. Smells good, good energy around other entrepreneurs, but it's possible for you as well if you just lock in and try different strategies. It might not be the most flashy business. It might not be like the Airbnb or the Turos or the Amazon, but it works. And I think that's all that matters to me. But anyways, if you want to learn more about it, hit the link in the bio. It doesn't matter what stage you are in the process. I'll walk you through it, or somebody on my team will. And we'll help you take you to the next level. So anyways, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I'm gonna go enjoy this view. Peace.